first of 8 stops and 16 races that will take us around some of Europe's finest circuits. So it's a very warm welcome once again from myself, Ben Evans, as the pit lane is open, the cars making their way round the grid to form up for this opening race of the season. Well, of the class of 2016, only Amaya Weidenathan and Daniel Pranenko return, so therefore it is a very open field this year. Lots of drivers stepping up to the Formula 3 machinery of the Euroformula Open, and therefore I think we are going to be in for a very intriguing race this afternoon, particularly as there's actually quite a stiff headwind at times along the start and finish straight, which is going to aid slipstreaming and hopefully give us plenty of overtaking. Well, pole position went to the RP Motorsport car of Harrison Scott, the British driver who made a brief cameo appearance at Jerez last year and claimed a podium alongside his more substantial campaign in the Formula Renault 2-litre Euro Cup, and Scott claiming pole by a fairly massive margin, just over 3/4 of a second of the DriveX car of Nikita Troitsky. There is the Campos Racing entry of Thiago Vivacqua, one of 2 Brazilians in the Campos squad this year, both looking to follow in the wheel tracks of last year's champion, Leonardo Pulcini, who claimed the title for the Spanish squad. So the teams heading towards the grid as everybody finding their slots. There is Alessio Martinez Moreno, one of 3 drivers for the Teo Martin Motorsport team, and Alessio starts down in 13th place. The heat haze shimmers on the grid as Nikita Troitsky looks to pick his way through in the DriveX car towards the front row of the grid. Of course, the DriveX squad having a great campaign last year, with Ferdinand Habsburg being in the title fight right the way through to the final weekend of the season. And Troitsky, the Russian, who did make a few appearances, showed a great turn of pace, and he will look to continue that form into this year's campaign. So it's Scott and Troitsky who share the front row of the grid. Row 2 of the grid is Carlin Motorsports' Amaya Weidenathan, returning for his 2nd year in the Euroformula Open. And it was the Indian driver who set the pace during free practice yesterday. RP Motorsport, a team with a great heritage in the Euroformula Open, having taken both Sandy Stuvik and Vitor Baptista to the title in recent years. And there is Scott sporting the Billy Whiz visor sticker in support of Billy Munger, injured in that Formula 4 race at Donington a few weeks ago. Meanwhile, the vastly experienced Warren Hughes giving some last moment advice to Nikita Troitsky. Although he lines up in 2nd place, he's actually got the inside line, albeit from the dirty side of the track, towards turn 1. There is then Amaya Weidenathan in the Carlin car. Carlin, a team that needs no introduction. They've been the pace setters in Formula 3 for over a decade. They came into the Euroformula Open last year and immediately achieved some great success with Colton Herter. Thiago Vivacqua then, the first of the Campos runners on the grid, and he lines up in 4th position, although Vivacqua edged out by just 0.08 of a second from Weidenathan in their scrap for 3rd and 4th in qualifying. And then it is the 5th different team in the top 5 places, Fortec Motorsports and the Russian Jan Leon Schlom, who makes the step up from the Italian Formula 4 Championship, where he scored 2 podiums last season. Step up to the more powerful Euroformula Open cars. Again, Fortec, a team with great pedigree across a whole range of single-seater categories. Devlin G. Francesco, the 2nd of the Carlin runners, the Canadian-Italian, who was front runner in the British Formula 4 Championship last season, claiming 3 victories and 10 podiums, on the way to 5th in the standings. And he is certainly going to be one of the preeminent rookies over the course of this season. Then it's Alex Karkozik, the Polish driver, who lines up in 7th place in the 2nd of the RP Motorsport cars. Karkozik, who has recently been enjoying some great success racing in the Middle East, finished 15th in last year's French Formula 4 Championship. Then the 3rd of the Carlin runners in 8th place, that is Tarun Reddy, who steps up from the British Formula 3 Championship, where he finished 6th in 2016. Then it is the second of the Fortec cars. That is the German driver, Janis Vicia, and he lines up in 9th position. Transitioned across from the ADAC Formula 4 Championship. He finished 7th in the category last year, and that was a very, very competitive season. And 10th on the grid, Mateus Iorio for Campos Racing, the reigning Brazilian Formula 3 champion. He scored 10 victories last year, 14 podiums, and that was just across 16 races. So the 19-year-old Brazilian learning the tracks as he goes this year, but he may well be one to challenge, as could Petru Florescu, the 18-year-old Romanian, who saw a couple of times last year in a Teo Martin motorsport car, but he focused his energies on the British Formula 4 Championship, where he finished 6th and scored 5 wins, 8 podiums along the way. A real strength in depth from the Campos team. Simo Laaksonen in 11th place, the 18-year-old Finnish driver, another who moves on from the ADAC Formula 4 Championship. Eliseo Martinez Morono, first the Teo Martin Motorsport runners, 13th on the grid. So a very full field of cars as we head towards the start of the race. Here's the grid in full then. Harrison Scott and Nikita Troitsky on the front row, from Amaya Vaidyanathan and Tiago Vivacqua on row 2. 2nd through 4th, very, very tightly bunched in qualifying. Then Jan Leon Schlom in 5th, from Devlin Di Francesco in 6th. Alex Karkozik and Tarun Reddy completing the 4th row. Going to be quite the charge to turn 1 then. Janis Vicia in 9th, from Mateus Iorio, then Simo Laaksonen and Petru Florescu. That trio of Campos drivers all will be looking to make progress. Then Eliseo Martinez Morono and Christian Hahn, the second of the DriveX cars. The Brazilian, head of his compatriot Pedro Cardoso in 15th. Daniel Pranenko in the BVM car from the rookie Lodovico Larini. Then Naji Ayak Razak in the 3rd of the Fortec cars, with Javier Cobian, who moves up from French Formula 4, completing the field in 19th place. The whole pack covered by just 2.5 seconds in qualifying earlier on. So the grid is cleared. They are about to be waved away on the green flag formation lap. And when they return to the grid, it's going to be a 19-lap race, or if we have a prolonged safety car period, then we would revert to the 35-minute time limit. If you're new to the Euroformula Open, to explain, all the drivers are equipped with the Dallara F312 chassis, but then, different to other Formula 3 championships, they have a control engine and other control parts on the car supplied by the championship organisers, the GT Sport organisation, which helps to keep costs at a much more affordable level and really allows the drivers to focus on setup and what they're doing behind the wheel. They all run on a control compound Michelin tyre. It's a tyre that the drivers absolutely love because it really allows them to push hard, but at the same time, we have seen time and time again since its introduction, if you go out too hard on the tyre, it does bite back later in the race. Although this weekend, tyre wear not being a particular issue, and so I think we should be in for some really great racing. And with so many drivers making the step up to Formula 3 machinery, they're going to be learning about the huge amounts of aerodynamic grip available to them. They're going to be learning about slightly longer races than they'll have enjoyed in Formula 4 or Formula Renault 2-litre competition, and all the racecraft that comes from it. This is why this type of racing is really known as the University of Motorsport, and already we are seeing 2017 the success of Formula graduates from the Euroformula Open. Ed Jones, the champion back in 2013, already one of the star rookies of this year's IndyCar season in the Indy Lights Championship. Colton Herter, championship front runner from last year, has already been on top of the podium and is very hotly tipped to be making a very quick graduation on towards IndyCar racing as well. Strength in depth, absolutely fantastic for this season. Many of the field having been champions or front runners in categories in which they're racing in 2016. So the pack heading through the 13th and final turn here at Estoril, the big parabolica, before they head down the start-finish straight. There is the black, orange and grey car of Harrison Scott. 21-year-old Brit, one of the oldest drivers in the field, who starts from pole position. He shares the front row then with the SMP Racing liveried Drivex car of Nikita Troitsky. Row 2, the royal blue Carling car of Emea Weidenathan and Thiago Vivacqua in the Campos colours of white, yellow and red. This is when we start to get peak tension in the garages. It's been 6 months since we were racing in the Euroformula Open. We've had the winter series then, we've had winter testing then, but it is all gearing up to the next 30 minutes or so, the first race of the 2017 season. Waiting for the last couple of cars to slot into position. They roll to their marks. We get the green flag from the marshal at the rear of the pack. Eyes to the gantry time. We're about to go racing and start the year. The lights are on. Out they go. Who gets the jump from the line as they sprint away? And it's a great start from Nikita Troitsky, who's going to get the jump on Harrison Scott. And Scott may lose 2 places here as Troitsky leads into turn 1. Scott holds on to second, Weidenathan into third. And then it's Vivacqua in fourth as they head out of the first corner. Some jostling behind. It's Jan-Leon Schlom doing battle with Devlin De Francesco and Taryn Reddy in the second Carling cars, as they're all cleanly through the first couple of turns into turn 3 rather, and starting to climb uphill. De Francesco looking to make a bit of ground. He does battle with Mateus Iorio. The Brazilian gets pushed out wide. That almost leaves a little bit of space as well for Taryn Reddy, as behind Daniel Pranenko's in trouble. He has gone off with Pedro Cardoso in the Teo Martin Motorsport car. So they get eliminated from 13th and 14th place as everyone else continues on their way downhill into turn 6, and then the road drops away even further. There's some 300 meters of elevation change as a problem is there for De Francesco, who slows. He gets passed by Iorio, also passed by Taryn Reddy. Now picks up the pace a little bit as they climb uphill steeply through the chicane at turns 9 and 10 before they sweep into the S's, then onto the parabolica to end the first lap. A little bit of mistake there in 5th from Alex Karkozik. Here's a replay of the Pranenko-Cardoso incident. They tangled before they came into view. I think Christian Hahn was also part of that, but it's Cardoso and Pranenko who lose out. So they are out of proceedings. Meanwhile, dicing behind, that is Jan-Leon Schlom and Alex Karkozik. And in fact, Russian driver Schlom gains the place. Or does he in the prompt for Thiago Vivacqua? Vivacqua slowing coming out to turn 1. So from 4th place, the Campos driver in the wars. The order therefore is Troitsky from Scott and Weidenathan. That leading trio broken clear of Schlom in 4th. 5th place is Karkozik up into 6th place, Mateus Iorio. 7th place for Taryn Reddy, 8th Devlin De Francesco, and 9th is Yanis Vicia. There is the recovery work, and there, unfortunately, is the stricken car of Thiago Vivacqua, and that is enough to bring out the safety car. So the first race of the season already neutralised just as the fight for the lead was really starting to spice up. The drivers, we hope, see the wave jelly flags and the safety car boards, and will know to slow themselves down for a fairly lively opening to the race. There is Christian Hahn, Drivex competitor some way down the field, up into 13th position. So far we've lost Daniel Pranenko and Pedro Cardoso. That was the tangle as they came through turn 4. We have lost Thiago Vivacqua coming out of turn 1. And there you see the safety car at the end of the straight. Also into the pit lane, unfortunately, is Naji Ayad Razak in the 3rd of the Fortec cars. And a frustratingly short race for the Malaysian driver. So he becomes the 4th retirement. Troitsky heads the field, and there I think is the meat of the reason for the safety car. The 4x4 tow truck doesn't want to get beached in the gravel trap, so it needs to be fairly proximate to the edge of the circuit, and you can't have the cars heading past it at too much speed. Hence the need to slow things down. Also, you can see the recovery work underway for Thiago Vivac. We didn't really see what happened there. It was just as if he lost drive coming out of turn 1. As frustrating as the start to the race has been for Vivac, it's been much better for his compatriot Matheus Iorio. There is Iorio. He got edged out by De Francesco earlier on the first lap. There's the coming together. It was just a tangle between Pranenko and Cardoso, and as the Brazilian was tipped into a half spin, as he came back across, he tagged Daniel Pranenko. Pranenko up onto 2 wheels, and you can see before the accident's even finished, Pedro Cardoso hands up, remonstrating with the Ukrainian driver, Daniel Pranenko, the BVM entrant. So, behind the safety car, just at the point the safety car was coming out, we had that leading trio of Troitsky, Scott and Weidenheithen all really bunched up together. Harrison Scott, having not made the best getaway, was immediately knocking on the door of Nikita Troitsky. Weidenheithen come to be able to stay with them. Now this is good news for Jan-Leon Schlob in 4th place, the first of the 4 tech cars, because he had a fairly tenacious first lap, gained a lot of ground, but as a result of all that dicing, got a fair amount of track space to make up to get onto turns leading trio. That work has been done for him. Another driver with a very good first lap was Alex Karkozic. Matheus Iorio likewise up into 6th position. Terran Reddy and Devlin De Francesco in the heat of battle. They're in 7th and 8th. Janis Vicia in 9th. Petru Florescu completes the top 10. Now are we going to see another lap behind the safety car? I rather think we will, because the field already coming out of the Parabolica. All the while, of course, the laps and the race clock keep ticking away. None of the cars involved sustaining a huge amount of damage. It's more just a case that they were stranded in fairly awkward positions. So hopefully the retrieval won't be too lengthy. Well, Troitsky weaves back and forth, just making sure that he keeps the heat in the Michelin tyre. A little bit of frustration there, bouncing around in the cockpit there for Matheus Iorio. Hopefully nothing too serious there for the Brazilian. Seems to be running okay at speed there now. You can see from the crowd shot, quite a stiff breeze this afternoon. The cloud from earlier on today has blown away somewhat, but it's actually a little bit chillier than it was for qualifying this morning. Also the possibility, of course, of rain for tomorrow's race. No risk of it for the course of this afternoon. So this is the point of the instant. Up at turn 4. Still got one more car, I think, to be dragged to safety. Therefore, it's probably going to be touch and go, actually, whether or not we're going to be able to go green flag racing at the end of this lap. We are having laps, as you can see, added to the race distance for laps spent behind the safety car. And then it becomes a question of whether or not we can complete those laps within the 35-minute time limit allocated to the race. But Harrison Scott, no stranger to running at the very front of the field, had 3 victories last year in the Formula Renault Euro Cup, eventually finishing 4th in the standings, but acquitting himself very well. He also put in a couple of very strong drives in his sole appearance in the Euroformula Open at Jerez last season. For Nikita Troitsky, again, jumping into the DriveX car for a few events at the end of last year. Immediately competitive, but this is slightly more uncharted waters for the Russian driver. He did have a win in 2015, in the SMP Formula 4 Championship. Didn't stand on top of the podium in 2016. Might get the chance to open his campaign with a victory this year, but you just know he's going to be under a fair amount of pressure from Harrison Scott when the race does resume. But it looks like we're going to be having another lap behind the safety car because they swing out of the parabolica once more. So the field all bunched up and coiled, and this is really exactly what the teams didn't want. Safety car coming so early in the first race of the season, just a lap of racing action. So all the energy, pent-up frustration for the drivers. They still haven't really had the chance to get it wheel to wheel. In terms of the rookie podium, well, that is currently looking like it will be Troitsky, Schlom and Karkozik. Discussions fully underway on the DriveX team pit wall as the safety car takes them through turn 3, the lower points of the circuit, before climbing up to turn 4 as they head through the left-hander. This is where we'll get a chance to see whether or not everything has been cleared away from that first lap incident between Pranenko and Pedro Cardoso. It certainly looks like it, which means we are going to be going racing at the end of this lap. Official confirmation comes on the timing screen. So the drivers will be, I'm sure, made aware by their teams. They'll also see in a moment's time the lights coming off on the top of the safety car, and that is the point at which Nikita Troitsky will have to decide at what point he pulls the pin. In the past here at Estoril, we've seen the safety car, post-safety car, bunching up into the S's, then accelerating through a parabolica. There it's a very frustrated Pedro Cardoso. Scott just starts to fill Troitsky's mirrors. Mayer Weidenathan may also get the benefit of a double toe down the start and finish straight as they climb through turns 9 and 10, then onto the plateau of the S's. This is where Troitsky will start to bunch the field up and then decide the moment where he's going to pull the pin. And Troitsky really slows them down. Scott almost overlaps. We wait for the Russian to pick his moment, to get back up to speed and get the race underway again. Teams on the pit wall, of course, they can't see the restart. They'll see the outcome as they come through at the end of this lap, and Troitsky goes now, but Scott has anticipated it very well. So has Weidenathan as they come out of the parabolica down the start and finish straight, and Nikita Troitsky has to defend because Harrison Scott's got a superb run, and the RP Motorsport car of Scott draws alongside Troitsky as they head wheel to wheel towards the first corner. Scott tries to squeeze the Russian, Troitsky to the inside, Scott to the outside. Harrison Scott runs very, very wide, and it opens the door, in fact, to Weidenathan as they head into turn 2. No change in the order somehow as Jan-Leon Schlob, Alex Karkozik also join in. Troitsky slightly offline through turn 3, and as he defends, the rest bunch up behind him. Scott asks all the right questions again. Weidenathan has to defend from Schlom, Karkozik and Iorio. And Mateus Iorio looking to get a superb run coming out of turn 4, and he's going to do the job here. Moves past Karkozik. Devlin De Francesco also looks to have gained ground on Tarun Reddy as again Troitsky defends. Iorio secures the move on Karkozik. See whether or not De Francesco has made that move on Tarun Reddy as downhill again. The fight for the lead, wheel to wheel. Iorio looking for further ground. And he's got a run here on Jan-Leon Schlom. Great performance this by the Brazilian in the Campos car. The driver in the field, arguably with the strongest Formula 3 pedigree. And he's putting it to very good use in terms of his racecraft in these early stages. Oh, fighting the wheel there into the S's was Troitsky. Fighting with even more was Tarun Reddy as Harrison Scott makes the move on Nikita Troitsky. Thought Troitsky would run wide, indeed he does, and so it's Scott who takes the lead. Weidenathan goes second, and Troitsky's damaged his front wing. There you see it, and that's why he's dropped down to third as immediately Mayer Weidenathan has a good run on Harrison Scott as they head towards the first turn, and Weidenathan looks to the outside, Scott covers the inside as they swing downhill. Great racing Scott back onto the racing line. Then the fight for fourth. Schlom, Iorio, Karkozic and Di Francesco running as one. Then it's Taru Reddy, Enesvica and Petru Florescu next along. Now how long can Nikita Troitsky keep running at pace? You can see his front nose cone starting to almost drag against the surface of the track. And it's a track with lots of slow and mid-speed corners. It's going to be heavy going for the Russian for the remaining 15 laps or so of the race. Meanwhile, Mateusz Iorio looking to challenge Jan-Leon Schlom. They're all queuing up really behind the Fortec driver. Simo Laaksonen and Alessio Eliseo Martinez Moreno also looking to do battle a little bit further down through the field. The race leaders though climbing uphill, and yes, Troitsky already being caught by Schlom. It's going to be quite the sort out because it's going to be through the S's where Nikita Troitsky is really going to start to feel this as he asks a lot of his front wing. Alex Karkozic runs slightly wide and then into the Parabolica, and Schlom looks to get the run on Troitsky as they swing out down the start and finish straight. They can see the race leaders breaking clear, and Nikita Troitsky knows it. He defends. He's got Schlom behind him. Then Iorio hidden behind Nikita Troitsky as Schlom makes the move. Part of Troitsky's front wing makes a bid for freedom. Iorio also darts past, and Karkozic and Di Francesco looking to try and gain ground as well. There's a question about just how long Nikita Troitsky is going to be able to stay in the race as Devlin Di Francesco sees a gap to the inside of Alex Karkozic. Karkozic, though, will carry the traction, should give him the inside line for turn 4. Indeed it does, so he withstands the pressure from the Canadian. Fantastic racing this. Aided somewhat, admittedly, by the ailing Nikita Troitsky. Surely can't keep Karkozic behind him for that much longer. But Troitsky is determined to give it a good shot, as again, Di Francesco looks inside Karkozic and makes contact with him. Around goes the Polish driver. Di Francesco and Taru Reddy both take evasive action and lose plenty of ground, so that promotes Janis Vicia. He gains a couple of places, as do Petru Florescu and Eliseo Martinez Moreno. Di Francesco looks to try and fight back. He does battle with Simo Laaksonen, another of the Campos cars. I rather fear now that Di Francesco, as he gets shuffled down behind Javier Corbiat, may have possibly picked up a little bit of damage. So a frenetic lap. The race, however, being led by Harrison Scott. Second place is Amaya Weideneichen. Third now is Jan-Leon Schlom. Fourth, Mateusz Iorio. Fifth, somehow, Nikita Troitsky. Sixth is Janis Vicia. Seventh place, Eliseo Martinez Moreno. In eighth place, there he is, Petru Florescu. Ninth place, Taran Reddy. And completed the top 10, Simo Laaksonen. Into the pit lane has come Devlin Di Francesco. Perhaps not unsurprisingly, great racecraft from the Canadian. Pushing maybe a little bit too aggressively. Now here's the fight for third place. It's the red and white Fortec car, head of the red, white and yellow Campos car. Possibly then a rear left puncture for Devlin Di Francesco as a challenge for third. Oh, a snatch break there from Jan-Leon Schlom. He is going to run wide, and Iorio should sneak past here. Schlom, though, is going to go wheel to wheel here with the Brazilian. They run downhill into turn 7. Great defensive driving from the Russian. Oh, with a bit of a tap, maybe a little bit more than a tap from Iorio. Corner exit speed for Schlom wasn't exactly the highest, but the track position was absolutely perfect. So Iorio has to gather his energies, try and find another way around. They're coming to the end of the 9th lap of the race. Schlom taking the wide track through the Parabolica. Iorio, he's just got the car working absolutely perfectly. And again, he gets in the tow behind Schlom as they run down the start and finish straight. Schlom defends. Iorio goes for it, darts the inside. He should go through here. Beautifully executed move if he can pull it off on the brakes. Iorio dives in, takes the move, and in fact it's Schlom who loses a little bit of ground as he ran wide. Then we immediately track back to the fight for 5th and 6th place, as Janusz Fischer has made the move on Nikita Troitsky. And has Schlom picked up a problem here? He's going to be passed by teammate Fischer and others. Possibly a puncture. Yes, it is a puncture. You can see the rear right tyre has gone for Jan Leon Schlom. And he's got a long way round as well before he can get that tyre changed. Fairly frantic racing, but still in the relatively early stages. Schlom gets shuffled to the rear of the pack. Others look just to find their way into proceedings. Caught a glimpse there of Ludovico Laurini in another of the RP Motorsport cars, currently in 12th place. Here is the fight between Eliseo Martinez Morono, and another look. Yeah, that would possibly explain where the puncture came from Schlom. And there is that tag between Devlin Di Francesco and Alex Karkozik. That was the moment that Nikita Troitsky's front wing end plate disappeared. But all in the day's work for the RP Motorsport team, because here is their driver, Harrison Scott, who leads the way. He's just over a second clear of Amaya Weidenheithen, behind Tarun Reddy, trying to scythe his way through the pack. That's goal! It was always going to end badly as Tarun Reddy and Simo Luxonen come together. It's all good news for Eliseo Martinez Morono, who has moved up into 5th position as a result of all of these adventures in the Teo Martin Motorsport car. He's currently 2nd in the rookie class as well, behind Janusz Fischer with Tarun Reddy, who was 3rd. There is Simo Laaksonen. He's beached in the gravel trap at turn 1, so for my money that promotes Petru Florescu up into 3rd place in the rookie class. Here's another look at it. It was almost 3 wide. Laaksonen, there wasn't an awful lot he could do as Troitsky chopped across Tarun Reddy. The Indian driver had to jump on the anchors, and that left Laaksonen with nowhere to go. None of these adventures, of course, of any concern for the leading duo, and this has been a good lap from both Scott and Weidenheithen. And the Amaya Weidenheithen a 10th for second quicker than Harrison Scott, so brings the gap from 1st to 2nd down to just under a second once more. As the recovery work is underway at turn 1. More adventures behind for Nikita Troitsky, who goes wheel to wheel with Petru Florescu. Now they're going to have to be careful here into turn 1. Waved yellow flags, Christian Hahn. And to be fair to the Brazilian, I don't think he would have seen the wave flags, and he acknowledges as such, immediately waves through those that he overtook, then gets himself back up to speed ahead of Ludovico Laurini. So this is the fight all the way to 10th place, which is now occupied by Javier Cobian. Laurini runs a little bit wide. Cobian looks to try and sneak through, couldn't quite do it on that occasion. Javier Cobian, the 18-year-old Spaniard who finished 4th in the French Formula 4 Championship last year. So this is the fight essentially for 6th place, headed by Troitsky. Then it's Petru Florescu, that's the white and red car. The darker blue car, Christian Hahn. Then it's the RP Motorsport car of Ludovico Laurini, followed by Javier Cobian, and these are all drivers. They started further down the field, but they've stayed out of trouble, unlike some of the others. And as a result, that means that they have been able to get themselves into point scoring contention. Now, we've going to have 8 laps to go at the end, 9 laps to go at the end of this one. We've got just under 12 minutes left on the clock as the fight for 6th comes out of the parabolica, down the start finish straight. Surely Florescu's got a run. We've still got yellow flag at turn 1. Can the Romanian, though, get his nose in front of Nikita Troitsky as they head into the braking zone? No, he can't. He waved yellow flags further up the straight. You just see them there. So he'll get back into single file. And Nikita Troitsky doing a remarkably good job here, because he is going to have a whole world of understeer after losing the front wing end plate in the early stages of the race. You can see again through turn 3, just pushes out a little bit wide. But it doesn't open the door to Petru Floresco. Ludovico Laurini might have a run here on Christian Hahn as they head down the back straight through the kink at turn 5. Brazilian driver Christian Hahn consults his mirrors, but there's a good opportunity here for Ludovico Laurini as Hahn covers the inside line. Laurini looks to the outside, can't quite do it. As they head back downhill. We're on the 13th lap of the race. And still Nikita Troitsky able to keep this pack of cars queued up behind him. At the front of the field, just to bring up speed of classification, it's still Scott from Weideneichen, Matheus Iorio in third. Fourth place leading the rookie class is Janis Fitcher. Fifth is Eliseo Martinez, as now Nikita Troitsky has to admit defeat with that nose cone. He ducks into the pit lane as Christian Hahn comes under pressure from Ludovico Laurini, and Laurini's got a good run. So does Javier Cobian behind in the multicoloured Teo Marti motorsport car, and it's Cobian who's going to go for the move. He darts the inside into turn 1. That's beautifully done by Javier Cobian, or is it? He pushes Laurini wide, and Christian Hahn, who kept a level head, repasses both of them. Laurini repasses Cobian, and so they're back to where they were. Oh, and a problem for Tarun Reddy in the Carling car. Unfortunately, that is a case of ready, steady, stop, as he is beached. It's over at turn 12. Trevor Carlin somewhat phlegmatically receives the news on the Carlin Motorsport pit wall. And again, Reddy a little bit too near to the edge of the circuit, one might suggest. So the rescue is underway. He was in 12th position at the point at which he slid off. So the race leaders have just completed their 14th lap. This is Devlin De Francesco in pursuit of Alex Karkozic, and with Nikita Troitsky having ducked into the pits. This, although both of these drivers haven't been in the wars with each other earlier on, are now fighting for the final points position in the race. And for De Francesco, that'd be quite the recovery, having pitted in. Likewise for Karkozic, having been tipped into the spin earlier on. So the classification is Scott leads, Weideneichen second, Iorio third, Janis Fitcher is in fourth, fifth is Eliseo Martinez Morono, in 6th, Petru Floresco, 7th, Christian Hahn, 8th, Ludovico Laurini, 9th, Javier Cobian, 10th is Alex Karkozic, 11th, Devlin De Francesco, and then 12th, Jan-Leon Schlom. Unfortunately, everybody else has somewhat fallen by the wayside. Here is our race leader, Harrison Scott, and Meyer Weideneichen still keeping him honest. And Weideneichen, having learnt his trade in these cars last year, is now really doing a fantastic job, leaping to the front of the field. But has he got enough to launch a challenge on Scott in these later stages? He was able to run close to Harrison Scott earlier on when they were both bottled up behind Nikita Troitsky, but now that Scott is out into clear air, they have been running at pretty much near identical paces to within a tenth of a second or so of each other as the race has unfolded. And on that occasion, Weideneichen giving away just 100th of a second to Harrison Scott over the course of the last lap. It might be a little bit more on this occasion as the Indian driver's car, the tail just kicks out through turn 1. Climb out of turn 3. Into the left-hander at turn 4. Out over the curbs, and then the run along the back straight. This takes them behind the pit paddock complex before the road winds downhill. And this Estoril circuit, although the runoff areas have been somewhat extended, is very, very similar in layout to when it was hosting Formula 1 back in the 1980s in 1990s. The only real change, in fact, is at turn 1, which was tightened just to make for a slightly better overtaking opportunity. And then the section of the circuit they're approaching now, which is the uphill chicane at turns 9 and 10, which was added back in 1994 as part of the safety improvements that took place in Formula 1 during the course of that season. It's also, of course, the corner in qualifying for the 1994 Portuguese Grand Prix, where Damon Hill ended up on his roll hoop. Little bit of a seesaw at the wheel there from Amaya Weidenreuthen as he continues to pursue Harrison Scott. This, the fight for victory in the opening race of the Euroformula Open season. Chance to see Scott at work. Minimal corrections to the steering wheel. Shows he's really got the car working very much to his liking. Weidenreuthen also generally very smooth, but you just get the feeling he's having to work the wheel a little bit harder than Scott. And that last lap, Harrison Scott was a couple of tenths of a second quicker than the Indian. It means the gap between the pair of them goes out now to just shy of 1.5 seconds. Here is Matheus Iorio in 3rd place. And after qualifying, the Brazilian driver down in 10th place would have probably felt that a podium was looking somewhat unlikely, but it's not proved to be the case. An excellent racecraft from Iorio in the early stages means, coupled with some absolutely fantastic pace, means that he has been now able to open up a near enough 5-second advantage over 4th place man Janis Fitcher, as there is Devlin De Francesco going quite slowly. I just wonder if that's De Francesco looking for a little bit of clear track to have a run at trying to set the fastest lap of the race and get the point and offer for it. The fastest lap currently in the hands of Amaya Weidenreuthen, which he set back on lap 11. Meanwhile, more battling further down the order. This is for 8th and 9th place. Ludovico Laurini and Javier Cobiat continuing to go at it wheel to wheel, as they have done for several laps now. Cobiat a little bit more experience in cars than Laurini. And Javier Cobiat, we did actually see him a couple of seasons ago in Jerez, the season opener in the Euroformula Open. So here's the rookie class leader, Janis Fitcher, the 17-year-old German driver. Again, some solid racecraft from it. He's kept his nose clean, and he is looking well set to claim rookie honours ahead of Eliseo Martinez Morono and Petru Florescu. That rookie podium currently running in 4th, 5th and 6th place. 7th currently in the hands of Christian Hahn, and then Ludovico Laurini in 8th from Javier Cobiat in 9th. Alex Karkozik rounding out the top 10. As you can see, Fitcher running in splendid isolation. He's got a 5-second deficit to Iorio in 3rd. He's got a 8.5 second advantage over Martinez Morono in 5th. And therefore the German can concentrate on just getting to grips with the car's handling and performance. It's, of course, the first of 16 races for the season, so a long way to go. Not so much further, though, to go in this race. As you can see, we have reverted to time rather than laps, and there's only 2.5 minutes left on the clock. The race leaders have just come past to start what is going to be the penultimate lap of the race. Iorio also across the line in 3rd, and then Fitcher in 4th. You can see he's pretty much bang in the middle of the start and finish straight as the rivals behind arrive onto it now. And Iorio in front of him, long gone. Right, the battle for 8th place between Ludovico Laurini and Javier Cobiat. Cobiat continues to try and chase in the Teo Martin motorsport car. And after the frustration of losing Pedro Cardozo on the first lap of the race, this has been a good run for the Teo Martin motorsport squad. Qualifying not quite to their liking, but the race has fallen to their favour. They're going to get 2 of their 3 drivers into the points, provided things stay as they are, provided nothing goes wrong between Cobiat and Rini. Now, here is Petru Florescu. He is chasing Eliseo Martinez Morono. At the start of the lap, he was 1.6 seconds back, so the gap between the pair of them is certainly worth keeping on, not least because Florescu was 0.2 quicker than Morono through the first sector. They are coming towards the end of the middle sector, which is the longest sector on the lap. So this will give us the best indication, and Florescu gaining more ground. He was 0.3 quicker than Martinez Morono. So as Harrison Scott starts the final lap of the race, we might see changes further down the order. It's an outside chance as well of a change for the lead, but it's a very outside one. But Amaya Weidenheithen was 0.3 quicker than Harrison Scott last time around. In fact, more than 0.3, 0.4 quicker, you can see on the graphic comparison. And that sort of rate of capture for the Indian might give him one shot at Scott. Although as he gets closer to Harrison Scott, he gets caught in the turbulent air given off by the car in front. It just becomes that little bit harder to close the gap. Harrison Scott starting the race from pole position. Looks like he's going to convert it to a win, but it's hardly been plain sailing, at least in the early stages, for the Brit. Got some great dicing with Nikita Troitsky to recover his position. And Harrison Scott climbs up through the chicane at turns 9 and 10 for the final time. Amaya Weidenheithen in his wheel tracks, as he has been throughout much of the race. Just the parabola to go now for Harrison Scott. Weidenheithen not quite close enough as the leaders head into the right-hander for the final time, and as Harrison Scott accelerates out, he can see the checkered flag which is about to appear on the gantry. He accelerates along now, he takes the checkered flag, and victory in the opening round of the 2017 Euroformula Open season. Delight for the RP Motorsport team. They get back into winning ways. Amaya Weidenheithen finishes second, and Matheus Iorio takes third. And then fourth place and rookie victory is going to go to Janis Vidja as the Carlin team celebrates second place for Weidenheithen. Eliseo Martinez Morono takes fifth and second in the rookie class from Petru Florescu into sixth, who completes the rookie podium. Christian Hahn across the line in seventh place, and then Lodovico Larini in eighth, having withstood that pressure from Javier Gobien. Spaniard takes ninth, and there will be a little bit of a wait for Alex Karkozik to come through in 10th. So much to celebrate for Harrison Scott. He claims the opening win of the Euroformula Open season, so he acknowledges the applause of the spectators and marshals. It sets us up very nicely, I'm sure, for an intriguing championship battle. Weidenheithen consolidating his performance from free practice to a very strong second place. Nikita Troitsky, we lost into the pits after he picked up damage to his nose cone early on, but the Drivex driver has clearly got an awful lot of potential, as do others who we lost along the way, including Devlin Gianfrancesco and Tarun Reddy. So here is the classification then. Harrison Scott wins it from Amaya Weidenheithen. Matheus Iorio in third from Janis Vidja in fourth, who claims the rookie win from Eliseo Martinez Morono and Petru Florescu. Christian Hahn in seventh from Lodovico Larini in eighth. Javier Gobien in ninth. Alex Karkozik in 10th, with runner-up Weidenheithen also claiming the fastest lap of the race. Jan-Leon Schlom and Devlin DeFrancesco will be disappointed with 11th and 12th and being in the walls, but they were both very quick, as were Nikita Troitsky and Tarun Reddy. Simon Luxonen and Tiago Vivacqua will be disappointed. So in terms of the championship then, Harrison Scott leading the way, of course, after just the one race. But it's always nice to be at the sharp end of the field very early on in the championship. So the applause in Parc Ferme as Harrison Scott rolls to a halt in the Portuguese sunshine. The RP Motorsport driver clambers out of the cockpit, stands on the nose cone and celebrates victory in the season opening race in the Euroformula Open. The team ready to offer their congratulations for a really impressive drive from Scott. Likewise for Amaya Weidenathan and Carlin, with Mateus Iorio completing the rostrum. And again, the Brazilian goes to receive the congratulations of the Campos Racing team.
Oh, hey, John, Harry.
Was the overtake clean?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Whoa.
Tough race, tough race.
Not unsurprisingly, all smiles from Harrison Scott and RP Motorsport. And we will shortly be able to hear from our race winner.
Harrison Ford, first winner of the season in the Euroformula, and quite a lively race with the two starts.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't quite get away from the line well at all, and obviously I think it was Jaruski got me into turn one, and Weidenathan was lucky not to go around the outside. But I was staying calm because I knew I had the pace anyways from qualifying and the race runs we done yesterday. And then obviously safety car come out fairly much, I think, on the second and third lap. And then I knew possibly this is going to be a good chance going into turn one because I had good power, so I thought, yeah, obviously safety car went in, lined him up quite well. Didn't quite manage to make it stick around the outside. But then, yeah, next lap I was pushing him quite hard and he made a mistake, which was obviously, was good for me, and I got into the lead, and from then it was just a straightforward race really. Just pumping in the lap times, no mistakes. Obviously, Weidenathan was quite close behind me, but no, it was really good.
And the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, obviously again hoping to repeat this again tomorrow. Obviously we got the pole and the race win today, so yeah, big thanks to RP for today. We've got some more work to do tonight, and then go at it tomorrow again.
Good, thank you, well done.
Thank you.
So very happy Harrison Scott claiming the first win of the season. First race of the season, and Harrison Scott bogged it down from pole position, which gave Nikita Troitsky the opportunity to challenge and pass into turn one, with Amaya Weidenathan also looking to move clear of the Brit. But it was Troitsky from Scott and Weidenathan as they made it through the first corner. The first couple of turns were clean, but then it all went wrong into turn four as Daniel Pranenko and Pedro Cardoso came together. Pranenko tipped onto two wheels, having already tagged Cardoso, and the pair of them ended up in the gravel trap, and that prompted a safety car pretty well. He did get back underway. Nikita Troitsky picked up damage to his front wing, which allowed Scott and Weidenathan to jink through. It's behind Devon DeFrancesco and Alex Karkozik tangled. Troitsky continued to fight on as Terran Reddy and Simo Luxonen also became casualties. Front of the field, Scott and Weidenathan ran in tandem throughout the course of the race, with in third Mateus Iorio picking his way up through the order to third place. But for Harrison Scott, having fought his way into the lead, he was not subsequently headed, and he took the first win of the Euroformula Open season. Amaya Weidenathan chasing him home in second, Mateus Iorio completing the rostrum, with Janis Fitcher winning the rookie race from Eliseo Martinez Morono and Petru Florescu. Onto the rostrum then in third place for Mateus Iorio. Runner-up, Amaya Weidenathan. And Harrison Scott, the race winner for RP Motorsport.
And now the national anthem of the winning team.
on to the presentation of the trophies. And in third place, Mateus Iorio. Runner-up, Amaya Vaitanathan. And race winner Harrison Scott, celebrating in the sunshine in Estoril on the top step of the podium. And the winning team, RP Motorsport. To the applause of the mechanics down at the foot of the rostrum. So the drivers will pose for photos and then make merry with the bubbly for the first time this season. Unsurprisingly, the representative from RP Motorsport makes a run. We will be back tomorrow for the second race of the season. Make sure you join us just after midday as the Euroformula Open season will continue here in Estoril. Until then, from Ben Evans, it's goodbye from Portugal.
And the trophy to the winning driver. Represented once again by Mr. Xavier Leroux.